wish I knew this before, because this crypto chart has accurately predicted every single major crypto pump and dump since back in 2017. It even identified that there would be a downturn in the markets from back in October of last year. But more importantly, it's now predicting a major rebound is on the cards for crypto in the coming weeks ahead. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly when this chart is predicting that we're going to see better prices returning for crypto. If you want to know exactly what's going to be playing out in the days, weeks, and months ahead by using this incredibly accurate model, then hit the like button and let's get into today's video. Now guys, before we dive in and find out just why crypto is so accurately following this particular chart and why it has been for years and years, just a quick disclaimer. Nothing I say in this video is financial advice. Everything I say is for entertainment purposes only. If you wish to invest in crypto, you should understand it's risky and you can lose money. So don't risk money that you can't afford to lose. And always do your own research before investing in anything. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's crack on with it. Now guys, this is the chart and it is absolutely mind-blowing as to how closely correlated this is. It also shows that much better times are coming ahead, and I'm going to tell you later on specifically exactly when we can see better times emerging for the crypto markets. Now, if you've been subscribed to the House of Crypto over the last year or so, chances are that back in April 2025, you saw me make this video. Now, around that time, Bitcoin was priced at $81,000, and you can see that around the 8th of April, it was about to finish its kind of downturn and move into a significant run to the upside, which would eventually lead to $126,000 Bitcoin later that year. Now, back when we were looking at this video, we were talking about the global M2 money supply, the thing that everybody began to talk about. Now, I wasn't the first to talk about it. Raoul Pal was the first to identify that Bitcoin and crypto were very closely correlated to the global M2 money supply. And then soon after, lots of other people decided to jump on the bandwagon and talk about it as well. And for a very long time, it was very closely correlated. The M2 continued to rise, and Bitcoin continued to follow. This was an absolute gift to us as crypto investors because we knew what was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, around July time, the correlation decided to end. And you can see basically what played out. The M2 continued to rise, and then Bitcoin, as you can see, decided that it was going to go in the other direction. And in fact, Bitcoin then sold off again as the M2 continued to rise. But I believe that we missed something. And here's what we missed. You see, global M2 wasn't really just what Bitcoin and crypto were following, because of this. And here's the reason why. You see, global M2 money is simply the total sum of money across different major global economies. It includes cash, checking deposits, and easily convertible like near money substitutes. And this is used as a measure of overall global liquidity. And as you can see, it's made up of the United States, EU, China, Japan, UK, Canada, Australia, India, and probably a few others in there as well. But here's the problem. You see, it looks like over the past year or so, global M2 has been rallying like crazy. But there's a reason behind why it's been doing that, but perhaps hasn't been as sound under the surface. You see, the United States and China have been rallying like crazy in terms of their liquidity because they've been printing money and things like that. But that money hasn't necessarily flowed into the global economy, particularly in China, where it's very difficult to get money out of the economy. That's predominantly why we've seen such a rise in gold recently, I believe, because obviously Chinese don't have access to things like crypto, but instead they've been accessing the gold markets. But because the US and China have such major economies and are the pillars of liquidity, it kind of makes it look like this is going to go up and up forever. But there's other contributing factors to this global M2 that haven't painted such a pretty picture here. And this is what I mean. You see, this is the United States M2, just continues to rally and rally and rally. This is the Chinese M2, almost going vertical right now. And it's because of this that over time, crypto hasn't always perfectly correlated, despite doing it for a few kind of months back last year. You see, at the end of the last bull market, you can see that the M2 continues to the upside and then eventually falls off the face of a cliff around June 2022. But by then, Bitcoin had already fallen from its November highs all the way down to around this kind of $21,000 level, which was a significant drop from the $70,000 top. Now, this happened because, again, US and China continued to print money in here. So what was it that caused this drop-off? Well, I believe it's this. And if you look at this purple line, you're going to see that the correlation here is absolutely crazy. You can see that throughout this period of time, it goes up, tops around here, which is pretty much when Bitcoin had its first top, comes back down, bottoms somewhere around here, comes back up, tops somewhere around here, and then eventually has this kind of sell-off that is very accurate, much more accurate perhaps than the global M2. Now you can see again, it kind of bottoms around the bottom of the bear market for Bitcoin at around $16,000. Back in 2022, has various different uptrends. And again, over time, every time you see a swing upwards for the purple line, you can see the price of Bitcoin swings up. You can see the price for the purple line goes down. Bitcoin kind of trends lower and goes sideways. You can see this trend up, peaking here, then trend down. Basically, you can see each and every time that this is trending up, we get a similar pattern. Now, what on earth is this purple line? Because this is clearly one of the keys behind what's going on here. Well, if you click on here, you can see that it is a Japan money supply. Effectively, it is the Japan M2, and this is the secret sauce behind why M2 has such an effect on the crypto markets. And I'm going to tell you exactly why that is. Now, here's why this is. While the United States and China have been printing loads of money, a lot of that money remains domestic. It remains in their own country. It's being spent on things like building roads, hospitals, whatever else it is. Now, if you're printing money in those countries to develop your own country, great. But a lot of that money won't necessarily end up into the riskier asset stuff, i.e. crypto. For that to happen, you need to have more liquidity that is more risk-facing. So where does that liquidity come from? Well, historically, it has always come from, you guessed it, Japan. And here's why. Over the last 30 or 40 years, Japan has had basically zero interest rates, sometimes negative interest rates, encouraging people from other countries to borrow the Japanese yen to go and invest in other things. Now, this is very, very, very important, okay? Because when the M2 money supply in Japan is going up, it means that money is being printed and it's being sent overseas. It's being borrowed by people in different countries to invest in stuff. And as that money is being invested, it's being invested into global markets. It often finds its way into equities. And guess what? It also finds its way into crypto. And this is exactly what's been happening recently that has caused the downturn in the market since back in October. You see, a lot of the money that is used for risk assets, the liquidity that we need, comes from the Japanese yen. So while it's good still that you have the US and China printing money and pushing more liquidity around, really what you want is the risk on kind of money to come out of Japan. But there's been a problem. Obviously, we've heard about the Japan carry trade. And that basically has meant that the interest rates are slowly going up on Japanese yen, which means if you're borrowing money from Japan right now, you don't know how much money you might have to pay back in the future because the value of the Japanese yen is possibly going to go higher. Now on the bottom, I've got this chart, which is the Japanese yen versus the US dollar. Now, what you can see has been happening since basically all the way back last year is that the Japanese yen has been falling against the US dollar. And as that's taken place, guess what's happened? It's meant that the M2, which is the blue line, this is the Japanese yen with the blue line, has been going down as well. This Japanese yen falling against the dollar causes the M2 to fall. Now, this is with a 0-day or 0-week delay. We know, if you were subscribed to the channel last year, that crypto predominantly was following the M2 money supply with around a 10-week delay, like 70 to 77 days, which is what I've applied here. So by using this M2 money supply, which you can pull up as M2 money shift for Bitcoin, you can use this line here, okay, and then just make sure if you're on a weekly chart, you write 10. If you're on a daily chart, you write 70 or 77. I'm not going to get into the specifics of choosing exact days because that's where we make mistakes, right? But you can see that basically by looking at this same line delayed by 10 weeks is basically what happened to the Japanese yen. So effectively the Bitcoin price is following what happened to the Japanese yen 10 weeks later. Okay, so whatever happened to the Japanese yen 10 weeks ago is going to happen to crypto in 10 weeks time. So what do we pay attention to? What's the most important thing here? Well, the Japanese yen has been falling against the US dollar. This has been weakening the Japan M2, which has had a direct correlation effect on global liquidity that is available for risk assets, which has caused this to happen to the Bitcoin price. But lo and behold, we have our saving grace. And this saving grace, you can see, began for the Japanese yen back on January the sort of 5th, okay, which was a month and a half ago. Now, because Bitcoin is 10 weeks behind what's going to happen here, we can use this black line to predict roughly that we are going to see a recovery coming for Bitcoin and the altcoins very, very soon. Now, I know lots of people were down below being like, oh, just more waffle, more BS, whatever. I don't care. Say what you want, okay? Just go and apply this chart yourself and you'll see the exact correlations that I am looking at, right? Japanese yen is leading the Japanese M2. The Japanese M2 is a very crucial piece of the global M2 puzzle. And that's what we missed last year because that would have basically told us what was likely to happen at the key time. And let me show you. This is where the correlation was lost, right? We know back in July is when we lost the correlation. We had the M2, which is the purple line, continuing up. Bitcoin all of a sudden starts to top out and no one knew why, including me. Okay, and it all basically happened because the Japan M2 decided that it was going to take a plunge. Okay, it plunged because of various stuff around interest rates and whatever else going on in Japan right now. Okay, so this is a very, very key thing to look at. We will see some sort of an uptick coming for crypto, and by the look of it, it's going to start somewhere in and around mid to late March. I'm not going to say whether or not we are absolutely 100% bottomed here. It could take another week. We could have another little dip somewhere down to around the 23rd of February, or maybe even into kind of the 3rd of March time. But it's not really certain. All we know is that this period will slowly come to an end in and around April time. This is why I don't expect that we're going to see significant shoves lower around now. You see, if I look at this is showing you that the realized losses across the crypto markets right now are far bigger than they have ever been before. Now, that might sound really bad and awful, and yes, it is bad. People have obviously lost money. But what this tells you is people who've lost money have sold and got out of the market. That typically tells you that a lot of the people who want to sell are already out. If no one is left to sell the asset, ultimately you just have people who want to buy the asset, and then eventually you get to a period of time where you start to stabilize price, and eventually you start to move in the other direction. Other things that give me a good idea that maybe this is coming: fear and greed index. This is the worst we've seen fear and greed index basically since the bottom of the FTX collapse. On top of that, look at this. This is the Ethereum funding rates. This green line shows you the funding rates, how expensive it is to place a long trade on Ethereum right now. And right now, they're actually paying you to place long trades, because we have not seen funding rates this low. We have not seen sentiment this low in crypto for almost ever. Okay, it is ridiculous. Every time you see these funding rates have dropped in the past, it is almost always indicated a bottom is in for the ETH price. And if you look at the ETH price versus the Japan M2, then you can also see some very, very interesting things here. Okay, you see lots of these like peaks and troughs coming in at key times. Okay, this was the last bull market, flips into bear market, basically starts to pivot up towards the upside. You get these like various different pullbacks at different times. Really, if you look at whenever you get sharp spikes towards the upside in this purple line, you get sharp spikes in Ethereum. Sharp spikes down, Ethereum closes towards the downside. Sharp spikes up, down, you get the picture. Right now, you can see that we are at the end of many of these sharp spikes for this kind of purple line here, and that probably indicates, along with everything else, that we are going to be heading into slightly better times over the next kind of month or so. Now, as you can see, this is not necessarily looking incredibly strong, but it will at least lead to some form of a rally. Now, if we do continue to see a push higher in the Japanese yen versus USD, it's obviously important that it's JPY USD and not USD JPY, okay? If you see JPY heading higher against the US dollar, then you are going to see basically much better conditions for crypto. And if you were to zoom out on this, you could see that the actual JPY does appear to be bottoming here. Now, what we know is if the JPY gets more valuable, then they'll start to print more of those Japanese yen. Those will get lent out to countries across the world. Yes, we might see a little increase in interest rates, but they're still going to remain incredibly low compared to US dollar and everything else, right? Because they really can't afford to hike rates too aggressively too soon. So anything basically that's going to support growth in Japanese yen is going to see growth from Bitcoin and crypto in general. I think things are going to be looking quite good in terms of what's happening. Whenever we see a big upswing in this, just think that 10 weeks from now, it's probably going to have a very positive impact on Bitcoin and the crypto market. Now, if you think back to March or April last year, I remember saying that, we've probably seen the bottom somewhere in and around here. Obviously, though, we then still had a lot of chop like this, and it led to a lot more kind of stress, fatigue, and pain. Basically, ultimately, if the price is going to head a little bit underneath like this, it wouldn't necessarily come as a major surprise. However, I don't think it necessarily needs to, because a lot of leverage has already been washed out of the market, a lot of other good reasons as well. I do think that we're going to see a round off. I do think we're going to start to see some form of recovery along these lines, but we'll probably have to wait a few more weeks for it, mainly because right now it's Chinese New Year. I'm in fact in China right now, and nobody is working. No one's paying attention to crypto. That's why the volumes are incredibly low and nothing's really happening. We had a holiday in the US yesterday, but a lot of the volumes come from places like Korea, like China, like Vietnam, Hong Kong, and all of these countries are celebrating Lunar New Year right now. They won't be trading. Now, if you want to go and pick up some crypto or go and buy some crypto and qualify for a bonus, as well as earn rewards worth up to around $30,000, simply join the link down below for BTCC. It's an exchange I've been using for some weeks now to start trading crypto, predominantly because there's a lot of different free money you can win. There's not much going on in the crypto markets right now, so you might as well go and try and qualify for various different rewards in crypto. Some of these are deposit rewards, some of them you just need to do KYC, lots of other different ways ways for you to be able to earn a reward. Simply join the link down below. It will bring you across to this page, sign up with your account here, and then go across to benefits and start earning your new rewards so you can go and take on all of these different missions to earn different prizes and be able to increase your pot, which is very important at a time in the market like this when not much is going on. Now guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, found it useful. Obviously, leave a comment down below, always supports the channel. I know there's a lot of frustration and worry in the market right now. This is exactly what we saw in April of last year. It led to better times. I do believe that we're going to be led to better times. There is so much positivity in terms of the macro picture coming forward right now that I do think the worst of it is behind us. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye bye.